Have you heard about the 4B movement? After the 2024 US presidential election, the 4B movement trend exploded on social media, such as TikTok. Among Democratic women, the movement of no sex, no dating, no marriage, and no children was raised after Harris's presidential defeat. It was based on the 4B movement that started in Korea. To understand the 4B movement, we must first look back at the 2024 presidential election. When Harris replaced Biden, people first saw the election race as a battle between prosecutor and criminal. However, as the election progressed, the conflict between women and men became more recognized. The issue of abortion restrictions emerged as an issue symbolizing the confrontation between women and men. Trump won the 2024 election. America's 4B movement begins at this point. This 2023 survey looked at which red flags men and women hated the most. It demonstrates that this conflict between men and women has previously existed in the United States. Women hate men most for being Trump-supporting Republicans, and men hate women for being communists. The conflict boiling beneath the surface intensified during the election. It is no coincidence that online posts about misogyny exploded after the election, sparking the 4B movement. The ignition of this new 4B movement is expected to have a significant impact on population. To fully understand its effects, we must first look at Korea, where the 4B movement began. Korea's birth rate is the lowest in the world. Compared to the United States birth rate, Korea's birth rate is less than half. While the United States is 1.66, Korea is only 0.78. Do you know what a fertility rate less than 1 means? This means that Koreans may no longer exist in the future. It is true that it has become worse in the 21st century, but housing problems, difficulties in raising children, etc., in Korea have persisted for decades. The bigger issue was that the younger generation developed more individualistic views. For the younger generation, their careers and material wealth have become more important than getting married and raising children. In addition, the conflict between men and women intensified in the 2010s. Hate brought about hate and amplified the subtle rift between men and women. At this point, the extreme 4B movement was born. Here, the trend of no marriage, no dating, or no children manifested. All of these issues have had a major impact on Korea's plummeting birth rate since the late 2010s. Low birth rates are reducing the working age population, and many experts predict that Korea's growth potential will decrease in the long term. It is hard to predict how the 4B movement itself will spread in the United States, but as in the case of Korea, the beginning of a rift between men and women has the potential to have a significant impact on the U.S. economy. Korea and the United States might try to increase the working age population by accepting more immigrants. Nonetheless, there can be great opposition from some politicians and citizens against this. Above all, the issue of extreme gender conflict is spreading from Korea to the United States. It is likely to become a global problem, and not just a problem in a few countries. Now, the desire to create a traditional family appears to be fading away. The case of Japan, another country with a low birth rate, is also noteworthy. In Japan, there is a phrase, herbivore man. It refers to a man who is not interested in women. These are men who are more interested in spending their free time on the internet and games than in dating. We're not sure if many men around the world will become like Japanese herbivorous men. But one thing is clear. The interest between men and women will decrease, and this will lead to low birth rates. Historically, wars based on religion, territory, and ethnicity or diseases have always reduced the population. However, looking back over a long period of time, we can see that it was only a temporary population decline. It was only a matter of time before the population recovered from its decline. But the war between gender is on a different level. As the conflict between men and women deepens, population decline may accelerate in the long term. Therefore, this newly raised issue needs to be looked at more seriously than any other issue. The Earth's population has increased significantly over the past hundreds of years. The war between men and women is more important than any clash of ideologies on Earth. It raises the problem of human existence, which may lead to the extinction of humans. Is the US, and are we going to disappear like this? Wait a minute, here's another ironic news. The headline says conservative women, who celebrate Trump's victory, will be having more children in response to the 4B movement. If Democratic supporters have less babies and Republican supporters have more babies, in the future, there may be more Republican supporters than Democratic supporters. As a matter of fact, it is difficult to predict how the 4B movement will unfold as of now. But the important thing is that the emerging 4B movement is about the existential issue of human beings, and it must be taken seriously.